I am Ben Sloot. I am the son of Jan Sloot, who invented the video engineering system. Yes, not the details, but I've seen it with my own eyes, what he has invented. It was a system where you can play full HD picture and sound, 16 films at the same time. It was huge, and everybody wanted to have it. At some time, there were some people like Roel Pieper and Marcel Boekhorn and another few guys. They wanted to invest in it. So we went to Philips and we went to America, to Sun Microsystems and to Compaq and another few other investors. And when we came back from that round, because Will Pieper had arranged that, he left Philips. Will Pieper was at that time by Philips, and he left Philips for the invention of my father. And Marcel Boekhorn is an investor, and there were a few other investors, but Marcel Boekhorn was the biggest one, and Roel Pieper also wanted to participate, and he left Philips for us, for our company. 20 years back. So my father is almost 20 years dead. I'm now 47, so I was 27. A few days before my father died, we had a dinner at Jan de Jong at his home. And we sat by him in the garden, and they made us sandwiches and a cold carpaccio soup. And my father and me went there, and we discussed the business, and we ate there. And that Sunday, my mother called me at 11 o'clock, and that my father was lying dead in the garden. Yeah, I'm not for sure, but 2 or 3 days. A few days before. My father was a heart patient, but at that moment he had no problems. And so far I know, he was just before they went to the hospital for a checkup, and the specialist said it was okay. Yes, Monday morning we should go to the notaris to sign the contracts, and day before he was dead. Everything what was involved with the invention, we had to bring to the notaris, and there is my mother signed a contract that she gets some payments, and all the stuff we delivered by the notaris, and after that it all went to Roel Pieper with his guys. And at the moment they got the stuff, they said that the invention was not there. So yeah, they said that the invention was not there, but we gave everything what was involved with the invention. We brought to the safe by the notaris, and all went to Roel Pieper. No, no. They said for the tax and all that kind of stuff, and my mother will get paid, but we never get paid. No, no, I don't know that, but I knew already that everything what has become after my father's death on the market, it has something to do with my father's invention, because a lot of things like internet on the telephone, that wasn't possible for 40, 50 years, and my father came with it, and another year later we have internet on telephones, but we cannot prove anything, and that guy goes over bodies. Yeah, maybe my mother has some documents, but uh, I think everything what was with the invention, it's all go to the notaris, because yeah, we thought that we could save, we could trust that people, but we didn't can trust them. Well, I don't know by head. Maybe my mother knows it, but it was in Hilversum. But I don't know the name anymore. Will Pieper and all the guys, they arranged it. No, I didn't know, but yeah, again, I thought that we could trust that guys, but I had also all the time I had a bad feeling that my father didn't die a natural death. But again, we don't have the money to do research and to prove it that he is not died a natural death. No, the name doesn't say anything to me. Yeah, well, I still think that Will Pieper and Mr. Boekhorn has something to do with it. But again, yeah, I cannot prove it, and well, I have to ask them, but I don't think, because I suspected all those years that he did not die a natural death, but again, we cannot prove it. Well, that was a few days before my father would sign the big contract, and my father was very, very happy, not for the money, but because everybody said that he was a crazy guy, and that what he was saying against the world, that it was not possible. And only my father wanted that they believe and that the world would see that my father was not crazy, but he was a very genius man. Yes, but I'm not. He wrote some kind of things, but I don't know for sure if it's all registered and all kind of that stuff. Because that would be on the name of the company. Because yeah, real people came by, and after he came, everything is going so fast. Even my father said, "Well, slow down, slow down, slow down, because it's going too fast for me." And yeah, I don't know for sure if all is done, but he was busy with it. No, he was not going to sell it, because they would gain a new company, and my father was 51% of the of shareholders, and real people had some percents, Marcel Boekhorn, and another three or four guys, but my father was the biggest one, and I think my mother has still papers from that, but I have to ask it to her, and then we have to look for it, because there are still some papers what my mother kept. I'm sure that my father has a patent application, but I'm not sure for what kind of the invention, because that was, I think, in an earlier stadium. En kijk, like Roel Pieper, when we had a meeting at Philips in Amsterdam, yeah, they all saw it, because I saw it also with my own eyes. My father put the chip card in his machine, and he played 16 movies in HD quality, sound and video at the same time. So he switched during the time between the films. So they are all playing at the same time. No, I don't know what he did with it, because he took it and they did research, and after a few days they said that the invention was not with the stuff they get from us. So they told us, from, well, your father took it with him in his grave. No, no. Well, you know, my mother was, yeah. How should I say? She was the first 2 years, 2 years after my father's death, like a zombie. She didn't know she was alive. She had a very hard time with the death from my father, and my mother also said, "From well, I don't want to know it anymore, because." All she wanted was my father back, but he will never come back. And yeah, it's a very difficult time for us, and yeah, it is also hard to speak about it all the time again. And because I am for sure that my father has uh, designed something what was spectacular for the whole world, because I see it with my own eyes. But yeah, again, we are simple people, so we don't know that kind of stuff. Yes, I have to ask it to the family, but I think that will be possible. Yes, if we can prove with that on that way that my father is murdered, and that my father not is crazy, then yes, then I think that my family will say, okay, we do it. Well, if I had the possibilities and the money to do something about it, then I had it already done 20 years ago. Because if I know who did it, I shoot him myself. Yeah, I think we because we went for a meeting, and we ate lunch there. So I did not thought other things. No, not with that guy to it, because it was a good friend of Roel Pieper, and his neighbor. He also lived there in the neighborhood. Jan de Jong. He want to participate, said Roel, and he want to join also, and he know a lot about companies and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, we thought that it was okay. Yeah, well, at a meeting at my father's office in Nieuwegein, we had a meeting, and Will Piep made a presentation on a whiteboard, and he told us that the application would be worth kind of $100 million. Will Pieper told us that he would think, and they would the fifth force, that would be the new company, and that will be a fresh one. So there would come should come a new company named the Fifth Force. No, they would gain money from investors out of America. We went to America, the Sun Microsystems, and we went to Compaq and some other investors. And I was with my father to the United States, and we went to Sun Microsystems, and we spoke with Charles Wang, the owner of Sun Microsystems, and he told my father after the presentations, name your number, I give you a blank check because I want to have this. I don't know. What the hospital said, he had a acute stillstand, so his heart stopped at once. Sunday morning about 11 o'clock back in the garden. My father died in the arms of my mother. What, to the people who killed my father? Like I said before, if I know who did it, I shoot him myself, because that is not normal. I think, but I know that doesn't work that kind of way. But if everybody is doing normal, then all this kind of stuff is not necessary. But when people see money, they do very stupid things. Yeah, if I've we already have think about that, but like I said before, we don't have the proof that my father is murdered. I want for my father and for my family that the rights that my father had earned from the invention, that it will come back to the family, and that the whole world would know that my father has invented that new video system, and not that he was a crazy guy, but he was, yeah. My father worked for more than 20 years on this. All I want is that those guys will spend the rest of their lives behind bars. Well, I told already I want it back. For all the other people and their families, I want to say to them, I know what they feel, and that is the hardest part. That you don't have the power to do something about it by yourself, because they are very dangerous people, and they know that we cannot do anything about it. And yeah, well, I hope that they all will be for the rest of their lives behind bars, and that all the people who are victim of this get their stuff back, what belongs to them.